Hey guys, thank you so much, first of all, for your time to talk about this wonderful movie. Greg, I wanted to ask you first. I'm sort of fascinated by the fact that you're making your debut in fiction with a subject that you covered in a documentary. So, if you could talk about that process and why, and was it different for you as a filmmaker doing it, fictionalizing the life of Sergio?
Yeah, I mean, be honest with you, from first time I encountered the story, which was 15 years ago, I saw it as a narrative feature. At the time, I was a documentary filmmaker for PBS, and so that was the first story I wanted to tell. But in the back of my mind, it was like this story has the kind of scope and the emotional intensity of the best feature films, and I also felt like that's a more powerful medium. As much as I love documentary, I wanted to speak to people more globally on an emotional level, and so it felt natural, to be honest with you, um, and but really from the outset, that's the way I saw the story.
All right. So Wagner, this is not the first time you play somebody, a real life person. Is the process for you or the amount of research of how you approach it different depending on the role, or is it sort of similar in the way that you dive in? Was it different for
It's
Sergio?
it is very similar, I think. And I've been doing this for a while. After doing Pablo Escobar, I directed a film about the Brazilian Revolutionary, and then I worked with Olivier Assayas in this film called The Wasp Network about Cuban spies based on real people. So I've been doing this. It's not a choice. Not that I particularly like it. I actually prefer to play characters that are not based on real lives, because I think there you have more freedom. But I also think it's important to shed a light on very some specific the lives of people that could teach us something about our history or of our life. But what I did in all of these characters is I tried to learn as much as I could about him, watching films and reading, and to then forget about all of that and create my own version of the character, because I think that at the end of the day, this is what actors are supposed to do. And I'm not Sergio, I'm not Pablo Escobar. I'm just a guy that has to connect my own emotions and the way I see them with the amount of things that I learned from them. Therefore, this is not going to go through a sort of imitation thing, but for a deeper connection.
All right. So the film is beautiful, and the fact that it sort of gives you every sort of side you want to know about him. But my question to both of you, and guess Wagner can go first, and then the director, is the scene with Senorina, where she gives that speech. I felt so moved by it as the character is. Was that scene treated any differently? Because I figure if you guys, I mean, if you don't get that one right, it's sort of the whole movie crumbles. If you could both
yes,
talk
I think Greg should talk about that scene first.
Okay.
But you're very right. It was a very special moment for us.
Yeah, very important moment. And yeah, so that is we filmed that in Thailand. But the Signorina she's not an actor. She's from East Timor, and we sent a casting director to East Timor to find her, and all the other extras in those scenes from the set there are from East Timor. And what was extraordinary about that moment is she's kind of telling her own story. Those lines of dialogue are similar to an encounter Sergio really had in a refugee camp. But she also had lived through her nation's independence struggle and had lost loved ones and had suffered personally for this higher cause. And so we didn't rehearse it. We could feel that there was an intensity that was about to happen in that moment. So Wagner's like, we can't rehearse this. Let's just wait. And so we got on the set and just rolled the cameras. And so what you see in that extraordinary scene is just her speaking for herself, speaking the lines of the script, but she's speaking for herself and for her people. And it was deeply, deeply moving. I'll never forget that. It was an honor to be there.
I just want to add to that the for me the most emotional part of this journey showing Sergio was exactly when we brought extras from East Timor, because Sergio was part of the history of that country, and all of them knew who Sergio was. Some of them had really met him in person. So for them, it was very emotional to be there, and therefore for us. So it was a very emotional, very emotional days. All the days that we shot with the Timorese, and I think that transfers to the scenes.
My time's
Especially,
up.
of course, with that one with Senior.
So yeah, it definitely shows. My time's up. It's a beautiful film. Thank you so much for talking to me
you.
about it, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so
too,
much.
man. Take care.
Muchas gracias.